artists do certain things to make them either relevant career-wise or for money. Recently we had this situation with Brian Mcknight and Mary J. Blige. What do you guys think was the purpose or the position with each of the artists, the whole fiasco?
I did not want to hear Brian telling me about, what? Is this really happening in 2012?
Did you know that it could squirt? That was a PSA. I don't think that was struggling for relevance. He wanted you to know how your pussy works. And quite frankly, I applaud Brian Mcknight because I can't keep doing it myself. I've been out here telling all these women how that pussy works, and these other niggas are just plain lazy. So for Brian to join the fight and to be one of the people that just is willing to step out on a limb and be like, look, damn it, this is how your pussy works. Your hiccup fucked up my shot, I'm taking that again.
Hiccup, too much pussy in my throat just makes me hiccup.
For him to say this is how your pussy works, I appreciate that. Thank you, Brian, from a fellow gynecologist recreationally.
You're a leisure gynecologist?
I didn't go to school for it, but I practice it. I am a leisure gynecologist. It is what I do in my free time. I am familiar with the labia and the workings therein.
Someone who owns a labia, I just want to say that I'm uncomfortable with Brian Mcknight telling me how mine works. I do have some questions for Brian Mcknight. I'm more curious about the process. I understand him wanting to educate women about our vaginas, just mainly because it's Brian Mcknight, and he did it so melodically. Like, he didn't necessarily need to sound so great when he did it.
Steps of loneliness. He can't show you how your vagina works.
He could release a chart. He could do like a doll, an instructional doll.
Thank Brian Mcknight.
First of all, I am not on the steps of loneliness.
No, not anymore, because he counted you back to 1.
So now that I know that it squirts, which I knew that it's, I'm not.
Yeah.
Just scientifically.
Chill version.
Yeah, I knew it.
It's been a while. You
Now,
know what? I'ma thank Brian Mcknight. I'ma send that nigga a fruit basket. When I see, I'ma kill a bootlegger.
She was speaking Disney, not
scientifically.
Are you a scientist now?
No, just it's possible for a woman's vagina to squirt.
God bless that man. From the outside looking in, if you're not thinking about this, Brian's approach seems foolish. Oh, so you a pimp?
Are pimps the only people who know this?
I'd like to think so.
No, seriously, he sort of collectively jumped the shark. To me, I think he was totally trying to be funny.
Brian Mcknight's not a funny nigga, though. So that's not.
He's not funny
a humor.
professionally.
Oh, see,
but
so
personally,
how do you know?
I don't think way she knows how it squirts.
You know, Brian Mcknight's a funny motherfucker. I'm just like let's have a little conversation. I'm becoming to the point where I'm jaded about a lot of stuff. What I believe was an attempt to be funny is probably more like an underlying attempt to become relevant.
I went to school. I went to school with.
the bedroom.
You went to school with Brian Mcknight?
No, I'm not that old. I went to school with one of his family members.
So what? His uncle told you he was funny? I don't believe he's going to be taken serious after that. The attention he got was magnificent, but I don't believe once he puts out a serious project, whatever he puts out next, I couldn't take him serious. It was funny for a moment, but that nigga, he's a joke now.
I think he did exactly what he needed to do.
And now he's putting it on iTunes.
I think it was
Why
brilliant.
was he singing the song in Garanimals though?
Here's how I know niggas like just at rock bottom.
Right.
Yes, rock.
If you're shooting videos
That's
playing
what
on
I'm
a grand piano,
It was not a grand
it was a nice keyboard
in the studio.
But clearly the house was paid for because there was electricity running to the keyboard.
He's not at rock bottom.
That's
He's
not
at
rock
home
bottom.
studio.
Okay, all right.
It's a home studio.
Creatively, the niggas at rock bottom.
I don't think so.
No, he made music when music made
Son,
money.
let's talk about it like this. Even a joke record sounded ill.
So you're telling me Brian Mcknight needs to inform the female crowd how their pussy works to get relevant again? That's what we're going. That's what we're going with.
The big question here, and you can say the same thing about Mary J. Blige. Was he irrelevant to begin with? Was Mary irrelevant to begin with? When Mary did the Burger King commercial, obviously she couldn't be too irrelevant because they approached her and was like, yo, here's $2 million.
Well, Mary's married though. Mary's married.
You have to understand, you're not their demographic. Their target demographic, the Ebony and Essence crowd, are still checking
I
for
still
them.
get those
Because
emails.
all his girls now are asking him why he never showed him how the pussy works.
reason why you post the topics on Instagram, right? The same reason why you. Right. It's like, dog, you put up a YouTube tutorial on how your pussy works.
If you really think about who goes to World Star Hip Hop, who that demographic is, these are girls that get into knockdown, drag out fights in the parking lot of Checkers.
I personally think creatively the nigga's at rock bottom. I think he's a good enough artist to do something more creative than to get in his basement studio.
It wasn't a basement, it was too sunny.
Yeah, no, it was a basement studio.
How do you know so much about the times then?
How do you know?
He's funny.
No, both of you.
You can tell it's a basement studio. Look at this shit.
It was a sunny room.
How do you know it's a room?
I can see.
How do you know it?
How I know it was a room?
Wait. How do you know I have windows? How do you know I have windows? How do you know I have windows?
Y'all giving away too many details.
Oh my God!
How do you
There
know I
was
have
a
windows?
shadow behind him, and you. Okay.
It's called light.
Brian McKnight. I think the man's a fucking genius. I'm not even sure how you get pissed off at him doing that shit. The man went from not being mentioned at all to being a trending topic and blowing up YouTube numbers in one fucking day.
Both of y'all, I don't see why Brian had to get up out of bed, couldn't make me no waffles, and is just gonna start singing about showing how the pussy works.
I'm speaking creatively. That nigga could have did a lot more than show you how pussy works at 3 o'clock in the morning.
But the reality is, had R. Kelly made that song,
No.
it'd be a hit right now.
He wouldn't make that type of song.
Oh, I'm
He
sorry.
would-
Oh, because that's
all right, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly to
R.
make a
Kelly
song.
wouldn't
Show me
have
how your
made the
pussy
song,
work.
And all of R. Kelly's girls are young enough
So
to
you
need
guys-
that instruction.
Mary does it for the money, and Brian got money.
No,
It's for the attention.
Mary did it with the aneurysm.
The
She
reason
was
you make
wilding out.
music is because you like attention. They all like attention.
He's talking to a nation of lost niggers. They need to know how their pussy works.
Here's the fact. Brian McKnight has less than 50,000 Twitter followers. Fucking Trey Songz has a couple of million. In one day, he became a twitting topic all up and down that shit.
reasons, though.
Yo, there are no wrong
That
reasons.
nigga's a
Fame
joke.
and
You tell me
infamy-
no.
Fame and
Yeah,
infamy
kill
are
somebody.
one
That's
and the
a wrong reason to be a
same.
child.
Fame and infamy are one and the same.
Exactly.
He's an artist. He
If
thinks
Jamal
any
Murder the
publicity.
guy is trending,
You are not an artist.
no, we're not doing
Artists, right?
Yeah, the artist.
Now I'm not an artist.
The artist, any publicity is still publicity.
Good publicity.
No endorsement, no label's gonna take that fucking serious.
Hold on.
Gonna take that serious?
He reestablished himself with a bunch of kids who did not know he existed. I saw a tweet the other day that said, yo, Brian McKnight's a little bit ahead of my time, but judging by all this response, that adult mixtape's gonna be fire. He didn't even know he was joking.
Hold on, I think the Mary thing shows that all publicity isn't good publicity for an artist because it backlashed on her. I mean, there were people who were truly offended by it. To me, the biggest thing is gonna be, what are you trying to get from this? For Brian McKnight,
wanted to trend.
right? Well, he wanted to trend, and also now he's dropping a song on iTunes, so he will make some money from this.
Exactly.
Mary, at the end of the day, whether they dead the commercial or whether they retool it, she still got paid. That check's still clear.
Even without the check, she'll still be alright. So it's not.
You know how many tall boots and furs $2 million will buy?
Does she need those?
You don't need a social impact of what she did.
How can you not need $2 million?
Right. Thank you.
If you can do without $2 million, then we need to be better friends, because I need whatever you got in your bank.
So then you and Mary need to be good friends.
Don't know. I mean, don't know what the impact of that may be though.
For our demographic, they think in terms of hip hop. They think in terms of like what's current, what's hot. Brian is not necessarily our demographic. That Essence, that Ebony crowd, like Brian can still sell out Essence Music Festival. Amongst his audience, he's still relevant.
That may come back and bite her in the ass when the album
The
drops.
same thing with Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight was seen to be very friendly and very, benign, and now
eBay
suddenly
get
he's
kicked the
singing
fuck out
about
of Kmart a
he's
couple of
singing
times.
about PUSSY, and now who's gonna think Brian McKnight is a little too controversial to represent their brand or host their show or
Here's my
whatever?
thing.
Honestly, what corporation, what endorsement, what brand is going to take him serious when he
I don't
releases
think
songs
he-
at
I
3
don't
o'clock in the
think
morning
he
on
really-
YouTube talking about how your
He's
pussy
aiming for
works?
brands, but
It
what
doesn't
he-
matter. He's
Yes,
aiming for
he
something.
is.
He's aiming for something.
He's aiming for what he got.
When he starts shooting them Massengill commercials.
Alright, so that's all he need. All he wanted was what? Twitter attention? Trending topic?
You make it sound like that's a small thing. Twitter attention is a big motherfucking deal.
Let's have this discussion in a week and see where he's at.
He did what he needed to do. Up this Twitter numbers, up this profile, and while we're sitting here debating about it, he's laughing all the way to the bank. And who's the joke actually on? Y'all. I didn't fall for that shit.
Let's see if he's acquired a deal, more shows,
I don't think he needs
anything.
a
He'll be in a mansion.
And he
with a
did. He
few
does
more
need a deal.
thousand,
Why? So why are you
$10,000
making this music? He does need a deal. He wants a deal. Why would you make
I think it it will work.
Brian McKnight doesn't
You
do that
create
right
this
now.
song.
What label would let him do that?
Niall, you're saying that he's not gonna
He's on
have an
Motown.
impact?
He's on Motown?
Excuse you. Yeah,
Let's see if he gets lifted from that deal.
They're not gonna boot him out.
What? Pussy?
Yo, y'all niggas are...
Yo, hold on. So he managed to trend in one day by doing shit that rappers do all the fucking time. Blew himself up, put something on iTunes, and got everybody's attention in one fucking
you mad
day.
at Brian McKnight that you best friends with Plies?
Also, his label would be the people to put it on iTunes.
I'm just saying, you show me where the wrong in that is.
Creatively, it was...
Creatively, he made it sound hot. Let me show you how this pussy works sounds ill.
You look at Chris Brown what both of those guys did in R. Kelly, and they still have their demographic. Of course, this is not going to put him in a detrimental position where he's not going to be able to recover from it, but I just think it was an ill attempt to become the talk of the town.
Is he saying that he prefers virgins? Because he's like, you should have brought it to me first. Like, is that his thing?
No, I just think you should have brought it to me before you gave it to that dude.
I have questions, Brian. Is it a thing where you just want to do an instructional thing? Or do you actually want to like show? You could do a chart.
So you're telling me an adult has to clarify this is an adult mixtape?
Yes.
What?
Because Brian McKnight, up until this point, has always been
What's his
child friendly.
demographic? What's his demographic? Child
If your
friendly.
child is on World
Brian
Star
McKnight is child
Hip-Hop
friendly?
at 3 in the morning,
They played Brian McKnight in my prom.
You can play Brian McKnight any fucking way. The man's damn near Wayne Brady.
Before, Brian was just a rich guy who used to make music, who got money from music when music made money. Now, I can't even look at a picture of him because it's all weird.
I think we have a society now when it comes to artists that if it works, it's successful. And his shit worked. Infamy and fame are kind of the same thing now. Like, nobody really cares how you get famous. Even if you're famous for some shit you should be ashamed of. Nobody really gives a fuck.
Somewhere in Atlanta, there's a 45-year-old single mom who is bumping the shit out of that video. Talking about, oh, Brian, teach me. And she means that shit.
if you're not gonna go to school, if you're not gonna learn a trade, if you aren't gonna get any kind of real life skills, then goddamn it, get to fucking. If you can't do something, be a hoe. But Big say either you sell crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. Well, get on your back. Do something. You got to know how your pussy works, and you might as well get something out of it too. Let it squirt. Do your thing. Mess up some bed sheets. Chances are, dude's not gonna call you the next day anyway. So you need to fuck it up so that when he does his laundry, you can be like, oh, that's right. I had hoe for dinner last night.
I don't think it was a good song. I thought it was funny. I don't think it was a good song.
I swear to God,
I didn't say anything.
I've had it
I
out.
laughed.
It's your
You
turn.
said they played Brian McKnight at your prom and I laughed. That's funny to me.
Seriously?
Thank you, walking away. It's funny. Brian McKnight for president after Barack.
Let me show you how that pussy works.
Brian McKnight for sainthood.
Bet you didn't know that it could squirt.
Brian McKnight for the people, goddammit. Brian McKnight for the fucking people.
Kudos to Brian McKnight. Get your gyno on.